Hello, friends. Welcome to Akulmach Live, and my name is CK. All right. So, you know, uh, uh, climate change has become a most important subject. All the governments are now coming together and deciding the target for environment control for their respective countries. Each countries are going back and submitting to the United Nations what is their plan and how soon they can eradicate all the carbon emission in the atmosphere or adapt to the latest non-polluting techniques for doing business. So while this is going on, let us now understand what are the five most devastating effects that we have noticed and how we have reached to this point where we are today. All right, let's proceed to the first point, and that is the habitat loss. Because of the environment related issues, there has been some of the species are facing a lot of stress. Uh, their environment where they live, the food that they get in that location, water, and grazing ground, all of these, is known as habitat for the species to survive. Not only survive, but to reproduce. So, the habitat also includes the place where you can actually reproduce and multiply in numbers. So all of these factors are getting affected. For certain species, it is more, and for certain other species, it is less. But however, there are certain species which are under tremendous stress because of the loss of their living area. Now, all this is happening because of human activities. For human to survive, they are actually removing the other animals' habitat, either by clearing the forest, uh, because we need wood and also we need open land, or by diving into the oceans and scraping the seabed. In any of these cases, we are actually destroying. So, all the habitat loss that the earth is experiencing, putting pressure on the species, is all because of man made activities. Let us find out some great example to substantiate this point. Polar bear is a very good example of what nature can do over time. Polar bear has been designed animal very specifically for the ice, for the ice pack, and specifically for the ice which actually is found floating on the surface of the ocean. Especially, you know that the polar bears are found only in the North Pole area where there is drifting ice. And this is very, very important for the survival of the polar bear. Polar bear actually live on the ice and hunt on the ice and also travel distances, take rest on the moving ice. Today, what is happening is that the climate change is affecting the ice formation, and in every summer for past couple of years, there is completely melting of the ice on the North Pole. For past couple of years, we are seeing that during summertime there is no ice, and this is actually causing a lot of stress on the polar bear population. They are forced to migrate to longer distances in search of food and also reproduction. We are noticing in front of our own eyes that this particular species is moving towards a major decline, and scientists are now saying because of the habitat change, polar bear as a species may disappear very soon. So, friends, we have to learn to live in harmony with the nature, considering that this planet is not dedicated for human survival, but the survival of the entire ecosystem. Therefore, we have to see that how we can minimize the habitat loss for other species, and they also have right to survive. All right, let's move to the next point, and that is about the migration pattern. The change in climate is forcing the migration pattern of lot of species. You see, because of the eons of survival and survival of the fittest, and everybody needs resources, and therefore there is a survival mechanism, and it is built in into the migration pattern of birds and lot of antelopes, which actually go around migrating, looking for the food. Their food mostly is grass, grasslands, and some cases shrubs and trees, and therefore they graze, they consume the resources, and they move around, and that is the route. Over years, this has become the usual route for certain type of animals. Now, if there is a climate change, there is excessive rain, excessive heat, the resources these antelopes or birds are looking for will disappear from those routes, and therefore, if the habitat loss or the route does not have the resources, these migrations will be futile, and therefore either these migratory animals perish or they will change their migration pattern. And if that happens, a lot of other species are dependent on these migrations, and therefore the whole thing will go upside down and it will take a lot of time to stabilize. Let's look at a great example, this time affecting the humans. Friends, climate change is also affecting humans. There has been a severe drought situation in the Central American region. There are a lot of countries there, and there are small countries, but the entire region is affected by severe drought situation, and because of which people who actually live in that area are not able to grow crops. Their crops are always failing. There is scarcity of water. There are hardly any rain, and therefore the climate change is affecting the livelihood of the people which are staying in that region. And because of this, they are leaving. There is a migration going on, human migration going on in the Central America, where people are not only leaving the Central American region, moving to the cities, but also moving away from those countries. And therefore, the entire communities are getting wiped out from that region. This is a classic example of how climate changes are affecting the population, human population, also forcing them to migrate. Well, I think the point is very clear that the climate change is now started to affect the human population also. Usually, the human population live near where the water is. Almost 80 to 90% humans live near the coastline, where they find a lot of resources, and then near the rivers, etc. But then, if the water availability, the excessive rain happens, a lot of floods happening, that will actually shift the pattern and will force humans to settle elsewhere where there are more comfortable situations. So if that happens, there will be loss of livelihood, loss of habitat for humans also, not only other animals. So think about it, this is a very big issue, and United Nations and other countries are really concerned about protecting wildlife and nature in their respective areas. Let's look at the next point. Because of the pressure which has been created by the climate change, there are certain species which are unable to adapt to the uh, new environment. Now, if this happens over a period of time, very slowly, species have time to evolve, and therefore they can actually, in balance with the surrounding, they can also evolve and change the way they live in that area. So they have two choices: either to migrate to another area, start living wherever they find suitable condition, or evolve in that area. Provided if the changes are not very quick. If they are quick, then the evolution will not get chance. And if that happens, certain species which come under pressure will actually start going extinct from the surface of the earth. And this is actually going on. Some scientists say that we are actually living in an extinction event. We are going through that. We are actually every year one or two species are disappearing from the face of the earth completely. That means once the species disappear, there is no question of that species coming back again. So now these species are all kinds of animals: mammals, insects, plants, uh, birds, all kinds of animals. And this is a dangerous sign, because if the extinction really takes off, then it will start affecting all other species which are interconnected. Remember, friends, we live in an interconnected world, not on the internet, but nature also have connecting us, all the species, and there are dependencies. So we have to ensure that this extinction of species is slowed down. We cannot prevent it, but at least we can slow it down, so that there is more time given to each animal group, and they can probably revive, and they start finding balance with their surroundings. Let's look at the other point, and now let's look at the oceans. Uh, oceans, as we see, that the oceans are the cauldron of all the chemical compositions, and the very fact that we have life, it's because the life first originated in the oceans, and then it came out and spread across the planet, whether you on the snow peaked mountains or under the ground, uh, stone eating bacteria, or on the surface. So there is a lot of life in ocean, there is a lot of life on the surface, there is a lot of life in air as well as underground. So it all started in ocean, because ocean is basically consisting of salt water and a lot of amino acids, and it created a situation where things got mixed up. When things get mixed up, chemical reaction happen, chemistry takes over, and then we start getting variation of different kinds of life. However, if the conditions are acidic in nature, then this will not get a chance to basically the experiment to continue. That means there are more acidity, then the life will actually start dying away, and before the evolution takes over, the life or the early bacteria will actually disappear from the ocean. And this happens a couple of times. The acidity in the ocean is determined by the human activity. Friends, since the time we actually started the Industrial Revolution almost 300 to 400 years back, we have been constantly pumping carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. And scientists have also calculated that one third of the entire carbon dioxide which has been released into the atmosphere since that time has been absorbed by the oceans. So what happens when the CO2 gets mixed up with the water, ocean water? Basically the pH level of the ocean goes down, and lower the pH level basically means acidic condition. So gradually but constantly, the ocean water is now turning towards more acidity, which is affecting the aquatic life. And the most affected animals species are the small shellfish, small fishes, on which the entire ecosystem is dependent. Friends, the large fish always eat the small fish. So if the small fish, small life forms, small species get removed from the ocean, it will affect the entire ecosystem of the ocean, and this is a cause of major concern. As we proceed towards the future, the acidity of the oceans are increasing, which is going to affect the ecosystem of the ocean, which is very, very alarming. Oceans are important aspect of our livelihood, our nature, and ocean is the reason that humans are surviving. The temperature control is happening. Oceans also act like thermostat, which maintains a almost uniform temperature across the world, which is important for humans, because then in suitable temperatures they can move around uh, across different countries and different areas. So we need to also make sure that we do not release too much carbon in the ocean, because extra carbon in the atmosphere will make the ocean acidic, and once that happens, it will actually have a snowball effect, which will eventually affect us also. Now let's move on to the next point, that is the extreme weather events. There has been a lot of extreme weather events that are now being noticed by humans across the world. Excessive rain, lot of big tornadoes, and if there is drought, very terrible drought, heat waves. There are certain countries where the temperature has crossed 50 degrees, which is not at all suitable for humans to survive. People literally died while sitting in such extreme temperatures. So uh, what about the animals? If human can't survive, how animal can survive? How animals and different species can survive in these extreme conditions. Excessive floods, a lot of rains. This is something new phenomena. So the climate change is also making this terrible situations, which is very devastating for humans as well as for animals. lot of fatalities happened because of this extreme weather events. uh, there are big tornadoes, more powerful, very energetic tornadoes lasting for longer time. When the tornado hits the landfall happens, it used to last for a couple of hours, 3 4 hours. Now it is actually lasting for more. In fact, sometimes it is getting fueled again and revisit the land. And this is what is happening. You name the country where there are cyclones and tornadoes, whether it is east coast of US, east coast of India, or the South China Sea. These tornadoes have created havocs, and what is fueling their intensity in last 1 decade? And I think that is because of the climate change, because of the extreme weather pattern. These extreme weather patterns are emerging because of the climate change. So that is why these are very serious issues, and we have to collectively put our brains together to ensure that we do not pollute the environment. We should not be the problem creator, we should be the part of the solution. So, friend, this was an important subject, and I would like to know from you, what do you think? Do you have a solution in some of these areas, or are you running a startup? Whatever the case may be, please let me know how you are solving the climate change issues limited to your business, to your community. I will be more than happy to hear from you. Or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it across. Thanks for watching me live, and I will catch you again in the next.